Welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to start a new series of videos that I plan to post every Wednesday when I don't have any interesting benchmarks to post. This series will focus on doing direct comparisons between games, their demos, and platforms to give gamers a real look at how they stack up when shown side by side. Today's video will be conducting a graphical comparison between the original Destiny running on the PlayStation 4 Pro and Destiny 2 also running on the PlayStation 4 Pro. We'll analyze each basic graphical concept so we get a better picture of how these two games stack up, and whether or not there really were improvements made for the sequel. So starting off, let's look at the resolutions. Destiny runs at a native 1080p locked at 30 frames per second, and I don't believe it ever received a PS4 Pro patch to run at higher resolutions or frame rates, which is a real shame. Destiny 2, however, runs at a checkerboarded 4K resolution on the PS4 Pro, and it looks significantly better even when outputting on a 1080p display thanks to the decrease in aliasing. The framerate throughout my playthrough was a rock solid 30 FPS even during the most intense firefights. It's a shame we couldn't see the PS4 Pro version have a 60 FPS mode, but according to Bungie, doing so would have had to sacrifice the amount of enemies on screen at once, and would also force them to remove some content, and I think that's the last thing a game like Destiny needs. When compared to Destiny 1, this is a major improvement because Destiny 1, while it does aim for a 30 FPS locked framerate, doesn't feel nearly as smooth. Now if we take a look at the aliasing is actually pretty impressive on the PS4 Pro version of Destiny 2, whereas in Destiny 1, because of that lower resolution, we had some pretty bad aliasing on sharp metal pieces jutting out from the game world. It's not perfect, and often the bokeh depth of field can reveal some up-close aliasing with Destiny 2. But when compared to the PC beta, the railings in this opening mission actually look better. Texture quality is only marginally improved, with surfaces like crashed vehicles and other metals showing minimal bump mapping and facial textures showing very basic polygonal work. The game's geometry is much more refined this time thanks to Bungie being able to focus entirely on next-gen consoles, so we do get a much more complex world design and impressive attention to detail. Each level showcases some believable wear and tear, with rust and overgrown foliage taking over massive abandoned structures, and it does a great job of keeping you immersed. Texture filtering also appears to be greatly improved in the sequel, with textures in the old game appearing really dull and blurred at shorter distances than in Destiny 2. Lighting has always been great in the Destiny games, but Destiny 2 cranks it up a bit more and gives us some impressive cinematic lighting that does a great job of setting up the mood of each scene. Thanks to the game world variety in Destiny 2, we get some really cool looking scenes, and getting into firefights with hundreds of enemies and particle effects going off all over the place is really impressive. Shadows are more dynamic this time, and we have some excellent examples of this when looking at the dynamic shadows from the torn canopies throughout the game world. Reflective surfaces are improved slightly in Destiny 2, with the world being more accurately recreated in puddles and water sources. However, as Digital Foundry also noted, there's definitely a decrease in the amount of dynamic reflective lighting from player weapons, which is an odd change. Water effects feel more dynamic this time around, and this coupled with the excellent increase in reflective quality and a great bloom effect makes the game really stand out. Fire and explosive effects look much better in Destiny 2, whereas in Destiny 1 they were very basic and the effect wore off very quickly. Destiny 2 seems exaggerated and there's a lot more particle effects with every explosion, making for a much more impressive scene. Particle effects in general are cranked up in Destiny 2, with a lot more particles on screen at any given time, giving off an overwhelming visual presentation. Rain effects will pollute the screen in the opening mission, and will even land on the player's screen while a series of different colorful explosions light up the dark interiors. Then there's also a few other nice touches that carry over from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. When you slide in the dirt, you'll leave a dirt track on the ground that slightly changes the ground geometry, which is a really cool effect that very few people are probably going to notice. So overall, Destiny 2 is an improvement over the first game thanks to Bungie being able to focus entirely on modern hardware this time around, rather than having to optimize the game to run on both new gen and old gen. Destiny 2 has an increased amount of enemies on screen at once, a higher resolution, improved shadow effects, superior lighting, and various other improvements that make it look substantially better. It's a little odd that the reflective surfaces on the player weapons aren't as profound as they were in Destiny 1, but it's a minor gripe and it doesn't hurt the overall presentation all that much. I hope this comparison was interesting. If you'd like to see more of these, let me know by liking the video, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe for more videos posted every day.